So it's that time of year to plant an asparagus bed. March and April is when you'll get your crowns. You can either buy them in garden centres, etc., or order them online as I did. I ordered a pack of 3 with an early, a mid-season and a late season, 5 crowns of each. So now is the time really to be getting them in the ground. So the varieties I've got, I have got asparagus Eclipse, which is an early variety, asparagus Mondeo, which should be the mid, and asparagus Millennium, which is a later variety. You say early, mid, late. I think there's probably only going to be a couple of weeks between them. I don't think it's like really a big difference in season harvestable times. You probably find it's just these will come in a couple of weeks, then a couple of weeks later, then a couple of weeks later, and then it would tail off the same sort of thing, a couple of weeks between each one. But anyway, so what I've decided to do, obviously this is my No Dig veg garden, so I've decided to dedicate this first bed at this end of the patch to a permanent asparagus bed. So because of the width of the bed, I can only realistically get two rows in. So this is my dibber with 6-inch markers. So that's 2 foot. So I've got basically 2 foot between the ridges of each central trench, and I can do the plants 18 inches apart. Obviously, being 15 plants, I'll have one odd one. So I'll just have one odd one down this end, which is fine. But basically, so what I did, I pulled the trench out with basically just a hoe, a flat hoe like that. And then to do the ridges, basically when you do the ridges, just hold the hoe on an angle and you can just make your ridges either way, turn it over, make your ridge that way, and that'll just make your little ridge in the middle there, because you want to plant the asparagus crown on the top of that ridge and just have the roots spread out into the little side trenches of that ridge, and then you've got your other soil that you can put over. And ideally, I think for what I like to do is to get the crown, again this is a no dig bed, so I can put more compost on top, I can mulch it over thickly, but I like to get the top of the crowns a good couple of inches below the surface, 2 to 3 if possible. But what I'll do is I'll get over what I can, and then I can put another couple of inches on when I've finished of mulch. And I'll obviously do that every year as well. So what I'm going to do is space these out now and get them ready for covering over. So I've just marked little spacings with the dibber as to where to put them. So you do have to be careful with these roots, they can be quite brittle. So just very gently, just open them up like that and just lay the roots over that central little ridge that you've made there. And just be careful with them, because they will tend to snap if you're too hard with them. So like I say, I'm going to have one extra one down that bottom. Two more this side. So just gently open those, just try to get the roots down into the channel like a spider it is, and just spread them out along that channel. It doesn't make a massive difference, I don't think, if I have planted them in the past when I've made vegetable gardens for customers and they wanted it sort of done quickly and didn't want any time spent. I have just put them straight, just dug a hole and plopped them in, and they still came and cropped perfectly well. So I don't think it's necessarily the be all and end all if you don't do it like this, but this is the recommended way. So obviously to get the best, it's already got some new growth coming from the crown there, but yeah, to get the best results you want to do it as they sort of say you should, the recommended ways. Well, it's always been done, I suppose. So just over and spread the roots out like that. So asparagus will crop. They're a long-term crop. They'll crop for a good 20 years, they say. But you obviously can't take a harvest from them straight away. So these will be 1-year-old crowns. And what I'll do this year is I'll just let them grow. And they create like a ferny plant. And you just leave the roots, leave the ferns to do what they want to do the first year. You don't take any harvest at all, and just let the plant get established. Oh, I'll tell you what, I think I may have got an extra one there. There you go. That just isn't attached. That's an extra little one. So that will actually give me, if I shuffle them down, that gives me an extra row there at the bottom. So I'll shuffle those. I'll put that one there. That's good. Buy 5, get 1 free. But yeah, so the first year you just leave them be. So that's 5 for those. So I'll shuffle these. I'll shuffle this one down to the bottom. So yeah, the second year you can take a little harvest, just the first few spears of the season, and then basically leave them be. And then from the third year, you can pretty much do a full harvest. And then they will continue cropping for, like I say, up to 20 years. That's good. That gives me 2 nice equal rows now, with that extra little crown that was attached to the side of that other one. Shuffle him up a couple of inches, that one. So that gives me 5 spaces for these Millennium, which are the later ones. Now I've planted them basically, so that's south. So I'm just thinking, because they're supposed to crop a bit earlier, I'll put the early ones there, and then crop them up here. It doesn't really matter, it's just the way I've done it. Just get these spaced out and then we'll cover them back over. So this whole bed will just become a mat of roots, and it's quite hard then to sort of get any planting in between them, because it would just be a mass of roots. But I'm not planning on planting anything amongst them anyway. There won't be any companion planting. This will just be a permanent asparagus bed. And I've got some perennial kales. I want to get a few types of perennial veg. I like the idea of having things you can just kind of put in and forget about them. Once these are in, it's a bit of a faff getting them planted like this, with the trenches and the ridges and stuff. But once you've got them in, you just got to keep them weed free, and then they will just crop year after year. Give them a good mulch every autumn, winter time. Give them a good thick mulch, good couple of inches, and that'll feed them and keep the moisture in. And you'll get a crop every year. and they say these varieties said that from 5 crowns you can expect to harvest about 100 spears. So I've got 15 here, so you know you're looking at potentially 300 spears a year. So what I'll do now to fill back in, I'll just do it with my hands, just so I don't accidentally disturb the roots with the hoe, and then just basically fill back over them. Like I say, there's not quite going to be enough compost to give them the 2 or 3 inches I would like to, so I will get some of my homemade compost to go over the top and give them a good thick mulch. And that should be fine, because this is only just covering them what I've got here. I will have to give them a bit of a mulch over for sure. You know, it's worth taking your time and doing it properly, because it is a long-term crop with asparagus. Hello, Mr. Robin. Robin just popping down to grab something. That's that row in. So the funny thing with asparagus, if you've never eaten them before, is they make your pee really smell funny. You'll notice an hour or so later, you go for a pee and your wee smells really weird. Bit of a strange thing, don't quite know why it does it. It always makes me laugh for some reason. Easily pleased me. So I'm going to have to give this quite a good mulch set. Really not quite as deep as I would have liked, but that was down because it's a no dig bed. I basically scraped it down to the subsoil underneath the bed and then made the ridge out of the compost on top, so I couldn't really go any deeper. So what I'll do is, you see I've got this channel here now, where I've pulled it on top. I will mulch it, fill that up and come a couple of inches over the top of these. But what I'll do next is I'll give these a really good water, get everything to settle down around them roots, get the roots nice and moist, and then I'll mulch it with some compost then. But yeah, I mean, that's one bed done. I haven't got to touch this bed now, just a bit of weeding, and that should crop from next year. Like I say, I won't cut any spears this year, but from next year I can crop a little bit, and then it'll be every year then for, well, it'll almost see me out, that's for sure. But yeah, now's the time to get your asparagus. If you haven't got them already, go out and get them in. You can plant them through April. You might get away with planting them up to the end of April, but you really want to get them in if you can. So yeah, that's job done. So I just decided to do a quick few seconds at the end just to show you. I've just put 3 barrel loads of 50-50 homemade and multi-purpose. I'm getting a bit low on homemade compost now, so I just had to extend it a bit with some multi-purpose mixed in. So that's 3 barrel loads. I've just brought this end about 6 inches here because the last 2 were a little bit tight on the end and I want to give them enough room to grow properly. So I just pulled the wood chip back a bit and extended the bed by 6 inches just so they all fit in a proper spacing of 18 inches. So that's all done now. and I'll do a little tour of the veg garden in a couple of months when everything's up and coming a little bit better, and we'll see how they've gone. Hopefully they'll do well. We'll see you next time, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos, and we'll see you next time. Catch up with you later.